Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of Bahia de Barbosa with this tour, with this amazing view. And today I intend to wrap up the New York City tour with you. There's very little left, and I think this episode will be enough for us to cover everything here, all right? If you like this series, if you like this city, please leave your like here at the beginning of the video while you enjoy this amazing aerial tour over the city. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I ask you to consider subscribing so we can quickly reach 100,000 subscribers. You know what will help? If you have the option to hype this video and click the hype button, right? It will really help YouTube deliver this series to more people who, just like you, might enjoy our state of Bahia de Barbosa. So that being said, after the tour, let's move on to the conclusion of the video and by extension, the conclusion of the city. Well, we have this little urban area left to finish, and we have a suburb to build here and an addition over here. Look, this is a kind of tangled area, right? Because of the subway yard, but we're going to start from here, right? From the central area, we have demand for medium and high density and office space, right? The expectation is that the demand for low density will grow a little as we start zoning. I'm going to put a generic standard American high density here on the residential avenue. In the back, I'm going to put the high density residents from the northeastern United States, New York style. And just like that, our demand for high density has been met, leaving only the medium density. I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing here, but closer to the center of the park, right? Closer to the park, I'm going to put a lot of offices. So I think I can do that. This office here is the biggest one, the generic one, right? I think I can put it here on this corner. And then look, see, it grows into really tall buildings. Then put the New York style because it's also high density, but it's a little bit shorter. And it will help us with this transition to medium density closer to the docks. Now, the medium residential density. I'm going to put the generic American style here, a strip all over this area, and then the New York style. This is also so we can supply this area right here. Here, look, this side here. I'm looking at it and already getting a crazy idea. Do you see that we have a shallow area here? What if I make a pedestrian crossing here, like a High Line that we have in New York? A lot of people suggested that I do it here in the city, right? Unfortunately, the most I can do for now in Cities Skylines 2 is to put an elevated paved path, and that's it, right? You can't do it like in Cities 1, where I could put trees, grass, whatever, on top of bridges and overpasses. You can't do it yet, but I think it could be an extension here, right? From our waterfront, and connect it here on the other side with another waterfront, right? Which will in the end finish here, right? Here actually is where our New York style city ends. So until the demand goes up again, we'll be working here on this side. I'm going to try to create a ramp here to give it a beach effect because here the slope of the ground is pretty steep. And I want to spread out a bit of this soil first. Not too much, but just so the avenue isn't so close to the water. And then I'll keep doing this all the way over here, and later I'll make it a little better. This slope up here, so more or less up to here. I think we can make a ramp like this, and then the slope will look more natural. All right. I think we've done a good job fixing up this coast, this boardwalk, right? I think the right thing would be to end it here at this corner. However, my concern is that this boardwalk will end up over the water, right? It might distort our water a bit, but it's a risk we're going to take. I'll build this extension toward the water too. And then we just fix these roller coasters that the game creates. Here too, the water has flooded in. Anyway, let's make everything the same height by selecting the nodes and adjusting here. See, changing this side here. For containment docks, small containment barriers, the famous BCM. And you already give the terrain a quick fix so it doesn't get buggy. You followed the land filling process here, right? And I'm going to do the same thing here because this is still a pretty urban area, right? I think when I get here, I'll leave it more natural, right? Because it's already farther away. So maybe I'll bring a dock up to here like this, more or less. Working here, first the straight lines. See here? One straight line, two, three straight lines, and then the curves, connecting all of them. Here, I think I'll take advantage of this boardwalk, and I think I'll end this landfill here, see? All right, and here's the space for us to build our walkway, right? Over the water. It's going to look nice here, see? There's a good space. All right, it's all done here, see? The whole pier. And here, man, we're going to adjust the height level because, again, look, it's really uneven. Look at that, right? When we look from above, it doesn't seem like it, but up close, it looks really weird. Select the nodes by holding Shift and move it for those unfamiliar. Next, go to the object's height and choose your desired value. For example, look at this node. As a reference, it sets everything to the same height. Awesome. Well, I always try to go over these things with the mods. Sometimes I'm using them, right? And you want to know how to do it? It's always interesting. Here, I don't think I'm even going to remove this excess dirt. I think I'll leave it. The only thing I'm going to do is fill this in with some soil. I can't leave it like this here. I have to fill this space with soil. I think I'll do this end here first and this side over here too, and then I'll connect the two here on the walkway. Here, what I'm going to do is this. Take some streets here, C, and connect them to the dock. The avenue itself too. I'm going to update it, maybe even create another type of avenue here. I think it would be interesting to put the parking spaces on one of the sides here, see? Is it too crazy to do this here? The avenue seems normal, right? 2 lanes going, 2 lanes coming back, but here I made a street just for parking, man, which is cool, right? Just to change things up a bit. The problem is that the corner got messed up here. I'll try to fix it with Move It to see if I can correct it. It didn't work on this corner. I think it's because of the sidewalk, right? Maybe I'll need to do it on all of them to fix the bug. All right, I think it looks better now. And I'm going to add some trees here. Whoa, it turns this into 2 trees, look, and removes the parking spot. I think I'm going to have to fix it in the road builder itself. Oh no, not even here there's a way. If I place the tree, it messes everything up. I don't think I'll even allow so many... Not at intersections like this, or it causes problems, right? With traffic. All right, everything is organized here, all the connections, all the corners. Now vegetation. I don't know if I should put this bigger tree here. Look, make a corridor. I think it would be nice, right? A little tree corridor here. There are already people walking here on the boardwalk. I'll put a smaller one on this side. A bike lane here would be nice, right? When the update comes out, right, we'll be able to plan this better. I'm going to update the grass here too, right? So we can have nicer grass. There you go. Look, it has a different color, a different shade. In this part here, I'm going to put some stones. And then about these little spaces here, look, between the stones where nature prevails. Ah, it's looking nice here. Look, this side vegetation too. I think I can add that as well. Some piers like this one here, look, this one stays. It would be awesome if we could extend it up to here a bit further ahead, right? Look at this view. I also think we can make one here, look. All right, use 2 side piers here, right? It turned out really awesome. And now, right, let's make the pedestrian crossing over the water here. I don't know if I should do it. Like this, with this style here, see? Do you think it looks good? I don't think so, right? I think it will look better if we do it differently, since the curve looks too pointy. See, this style can't be curved. It ends with 2 straight lines. I think the traditional way is better. I think I'm even going to create, look, an additional platform here, making a loop around the outside. And then it ends up like this. See, I'll even open up some of these nodes here, so this junction gets, wider here. Look, that's it. Always thinking about the pedestrian's well-being. Here, on this side of the avenue, I'm going to remove the parking, leave a strip of grass, and plant some trees. There are parks here, right? In the back, which I signed up for, I think at the beginning of this series, and I never actually got to use it, right? In fact, I think I could take advantage of it a little here. For example, this one here and this one, they're a bit like decks. It's nice to have them to enjoy the scenery and view here. I'm just gonna add some trees on the side now too. Do you think it would look good maybe to have an exit here? and connect it directly here, down here, at this level. I think so. Yeah, it could just be here, right? Because this connection here doesn't look good. But, I mean, for the design, I don't think it would affect the design much, right? Because it's just the right size. Just going back and adding a bit more stone detailing here around the bridge will also add a really nice effect. All right, I think this part is done, right? I think it turned out really cool. It looks like a really modern piece. Really modern. So now what? We still need to fill this part over here with buildings. And this part here, look, it's going to be easier. Why? You know, because it is square, neat, right? And here, here too, look, it's going to be easy. The problem is going to be here. Look, these little broken parts here. Look, let's hit play, wait for everything to be filled in here, and complete this space with what? Commerce. Good thing we have a lot of commerce. Well, not a lot, right? A little bit of demand for commerce. So, my friends, I put these little houses here. I know they're not in the American style, but man, this spot looks so cute, right? So touristy that I think there would be some characteristic little houses here, for, I don't know, people to take pictures, right? The houses were painted exactly for that. So I think it was very welcome here. They're from Eastern Europe. So look, from everything down here, look, everything is filled in. Our bus station here, right? Everything is filled in over here too. Look, the little square. This is a unique building that I ended up putting here. It's from the United States, okay? It's in the style of the United States. I put some small buildings here, look. And finally, we have this part here. It's from Eastern Europe. And now only this part will be left. I'm thinking of putting a plaza in this corner. It'll be easy here, right? Just finish adding the vegetation we've already been putting here. I think we could have a ferry point here, couldn't we? I think I'll leave it like that. And then when the mod guys update the mods that broke, for the Bridge and Ports downloadable content, I'll put a ferry point here. There you go. I did a basic decoration here in this square. Well, we have medium density demand. I'm placing it here, right? So we can close off this section, and after finishing here, filling in the blocks, we finally finish here. The New York City. At least when it comes to this section, right? When it comes to this part. From the highway to here, right? The only thing left is the suburbs, at least the streets. I'm gonna do it here so we can complete the layout, right? And when, look, this demand here really goes up, we'll finish the city here once and for all. Okay, I'll keep the layout this way. We already have a high school over here. I think I'll finish this side as well, right? There's no demand, but we'll still be ready. Here I'm going to make the streets much bigger, okay? Much more spaced out because this is already an area that's pretty far from downtown, right? So there's no need to make it too dense. So what's the idea here? Oh, it was a big piece of land. It was expropriated for the creation of what? For the subway yard when the city got the subway. So I'm going to leave this big piece of land here. Look, it really looks like it used to have another purpose, right? Later, it was used to store the subway trains to be the maintenance yard and so on. Also because it fits really snugly, perfectly here at the entrance in the blocks, right? I even made a street here, underneath and all, to run the train tracks through. Well, and here it is. Look, this final part of this suburb is done. So, what's left, right? A little suburb here, a little suburb there, and maybe some tweaks, right? Specific things like a ferry here, but we can already start planning some bus routes. And then we leave it for another episode along with the ferry, right? An integration with the subway and also do the suburbs. And then, yes, we can consider the city finished, right? I wanted to finish everything today, but the demand is keeping me from making it happen. I'm not zoning without demand either. We also have to satisfy this industrial demand again, right? Because it seems like this here wasn't enough. It wasn't sufficient. Well, if we analyze it here, right? The city, I think so. Man, I don't want the bus lines to compete with the subway lines. I think by subway, it makes perfect sense for us to go from south to north and from east to west up to here. I think so. And then we would have a central station, maybe right here, look, right on this North Avenue here in the park. Well, we have a train station. We could put a subway connection here at this train station, right? I think on the east-west line, right? I could make a little extension, I don't know. up to here, this square, right? And connect it so it stays nearby, right? Then head up to the stadium. Okay, so it's basically going to be one, but here we can serve, right? These verticals here, look inside here with bus lines and maybe diagonal lines, right? Leaving, I don't know, from a southeast, from a southwest to a northeast, or from a northwest to a southeast, right? Connecting with the station anyway. I think they wouldn't compete, and they would cover the whole city, okay? Well, shall we do the verticals here, okay? I'm going to mainly use the American stitch here, just with the little sign, because this here, man, this is a neighborhood street, okay? So I think the little sign will work. Is that okay? What can we do? One street for the bus going up, the other for going down. Let's do it. I'll even start from this part here, where we'll have the port, right? A ferry port. So there will be a stop here, and then we'll go up, right? I think one here, before the corner, is already good. Another one. Here, man, here things are complicated. I think these crosswalks could even have up to 3 lanes, okay? And parking should be prohibited because cars use this area a lot to make U-turns. I'll add a spot here on the corner, update it, add another lane, and remove parking. All right, then after this, we can have a spot here next to the hospital, so I'll put it here. Then a few more blocks over here. I think this is already a good size. And then a final spot here on the side of the school's gym. We're going to go around, so we'll cover this suburb here. Maybe I'll put after this spot, one point here under the train tracks and another one before the crossing. To the other side, maybe here, look. Then this bus will come in here and it will turn back. Now I think it has to turn back here, look, so it can enter this street. And right, manage to make the way down here again. So it has to turn back on the marginal road here by the expressway. So I'm gonna put a point here and another one right here, look, in front of the school. And then he's going to enter this street here, and from here he'll go all the way down there. Look, I'm going to put an intersection here before North Avenue over there by the park. Actually, we have a terminal here, right? I think I'm going to leave this terminal as well. For intercity lines, right? Intermunicipal, because otherwise it's going to go too far from the outbound line, right? The idea is to stay just 1 block away, right? Anyway, I think it's good here. If I connect here, it'll be too far to walk. I'll put a stop right here. Look, I think a stop here will be nice. And I think we can even go down a little more here. Look, by the dock right here, make a final stop here. All right, let's map out this route then. Look, it's going to be exactly this north and south here, see? Look, so it's going to leave from the ferry here, you can go down right. Then it's going to go around. To start going up and follow the route you've already seen there. There you go. The buses from the Californian city are already being generated here. I think we could have a little bus garage here closer by. Look, in this vast space here, I think here, look, it would be good. Now I'm also going to create a north-south line, but on this other side here, okay? And then they'll transfer here. It will also give access here to the train station and the subway here, and it will end here in this suburb, right? It'll cross here. I'll add a stop on the other side. Start the route going up. Okay, look at how many stops have already been placed here in advance. Okay, so I can map out the route here with you, all right? So we're going to do this then. First right from the south up to the north here, see? There are already some stops, so let's go. This route will start here. Then, right, the bus will take this side road here, see, up to here. From here, we continue. There's a stop here on South Avenue in the park, right? Like the bus goes through here? You could even put a stop here too, right? But then anyway, it will stop here on the South Avenue of the park. I'll put a stop here too, on the waterfront, and then at the station, right? And another one here further ahead. Here it's really far, the stops are quite far apart. Because there's not much here, right? It's mostly a big avenue with attractions only on one side, right? On the other side, it's the sea. And then, after here, this bus is going to make this turn to the left. It's going to take the street under the train tracks here, right? So we're going to have a stop here. Then it's going to take the side road, right? the marginal road here. It's going to cross this overpass and then it'll get here, look, to a real suburban area, okay? It's going to come here and finish here next to the stadium, next to the square. Right. Then, on the way back, it's a slightly different route. But that's because we have to come back over this overpass, right? And then we go under the other train track, right? We went over this one, now we're coming back over this one, and we'll have one more stop here. Going down a bit further, we'll stop again here. This one's shared, right? The other line will pass through here too, another line that I'm going to do with you. And this route will go up here, the station street, and man, there was some problem here with the train track route. Later, I'll have to check here, leaving here and going to the city of Los Angeles. Well, anyway, let's finish this route here. Then it will come back, pick up the passengers here, enter this street, and finish by making a turn here. So this will be the route, right? Leaving here, going to the stadium, passing back here, in the more suburban area, right? Something strange. Look, we're right here in the middle of the way, right? And then here, look, it can't find the route. Here it does. Okay. It's somewhere around here, look, that it's losing the connection. See? And then I don't really know why that is. Well, I'm going to try to do it again from scratch here, starting from the airport, and anyway, redo the route. No, not even like that. Man, there's something. It was right here, more or less near where I broke the rail to pass it over here on top. Could it be that it's not connected here? Oh, it is connected. It has the connection. I'll break it and do it again. Now it worked. Now it went right. The game's craziness. Well, I'm going to use a different color for these lines here. I made both of them red, okay? Still, it's hard to see, right? It's still not that highlighted. But this one here that we made, right? It's already a success. It's being used a lot. You can see here. It's already at 96% usage. 617 passengers, okay? This line is a success. We have one line here and another here. And I was thinking about making one here. Look, serving this part here, at least connecting here with the station and coming over here. Why? Because this line to the west comes over here, but it ends down here. It doesn't continue. It doesn't give access to the train station and the future subway station. So I'm even going to bring it over here. Look, maybe I'll even make a stop here at the bus terminal and bring it. I don't know, man. The aim was also to serve this northern part of the park. If I bring it to the terminal, maybe I won't serve much, right? Or I can bring it through here and make a connection line out here, right? I can finish at this terminal. Where is it? Here, look, at this terminal. Because I even put some points, look. So let's follow the idea with me here. Look, it's this point here. Look, this line would start here. It would go here, look to the side of the park and would, right, take this exit. I forgot that this is an overpass here, right? Whoever enters here can't access down here. Makes sense. So I would have to change, hold on. This line would start here, then come here to the side of the avenue. Look, and we can even use, oops. Actually, he'll have to go around up there, right? This one goes and this one comes back. It's just that there's no way through here, right? This is closed. There's no street here, okay? I'm going to create a shared line here, at least in this part, just so we can get out of here. And then look, actually managed to come over here, which is where I wanted the line to go. Look, it comes out from here, then comes over here, then it keeps going. Look, following this part here, man, smooth. And then it goes around down here and comes back, right? Around here, maybe not exactly at the same addresses, right? On the same streets, but close by, right? See here, look, it's relatively close. And then we come back this way. And this bus could go down this way. Why doesn't it go down here? It stops here. Look, it could go down here, right? Did I block something here? Yeah, I didn't allow it to go down here, but now I'm going to allow it. So instead of the bus going all the way around down there, look, it's going to go around here. All right, 3 lines here. There's a stop in almost every part of the city, right? For all directions. I think I'm just going to make a direct connection now from the bus station here to the bus station over there in the city of Los Angeles. So let's do this route here. Let's see how it is. It even goes, look, it takes this intersection here in the middle of the city, then takes the local road, not the expressway, and enters here, right? And goes around. Let's see how it's actually going to finish now, the way back. There's no way back. What do you mean, man? Up to here there is, look over there. You come this way and close it here, see? It doesn't work, there's no entrance here. The entrance isn't here. Move it a little bit here, look, leave it more over here, see? He can't find the route to get in. Wow, this part here is kind of loose, see? Disconnected. I'm gonna try to force it until it fits in here. Look, let's see if he gets it. Now it worked. See, little things like this make us waste a lot of time fixing them here in cities. And I think I'm going to make an expressway too. Whoever gets here, right? Whoever gets to the terminal will have connections from several cities coming here, right? And wants to access the station here, right? I think we could make an expressway, couldn't we? And then later, coming back, okay? Now we have 4 lines here in the city, and later we start worrying about the subway, right? We're focused on traffic here because also, I zoned this part, so you already know, right? This avenue never had issues until I zoned it, which caused traffic jams. And the curious case of people who have 2 open lanes here on the side and want to stay in the third one over here in the corner, maybe to look for parking. Look, one found a spot here. Look, 2 of them found spots. Just that little cart there that... Oh, okay, he moved it. Yeah, anyway, for me, man, if you want to block traffic here, you block it, right? The main road here is clear, and people who aren't going to park are using it. Well, with this magnitude and speed, I'm going to wrap up the episode with you. But before that, hold on, don't leave yet. We're going to take a little bus ride here. Let's see which route is being used the most. Man, even the inner city one is being used a lot. But man, the first one we made, this one right here, in this corner, 111%. I'm going to have to increase the fleet, see? All the buses are packed. And that's without me lowering the fare, right? We're adopting a 0 fare here in the state. We had 8 vehicles. I am going to add 4 more, so 12. The other one also has 102% occupancy here, 9 vehicles. I'm going to make it 12 as well. Keep the fare at 0. I'll continue charging for inner city buses since they're at 50% usage, and I'll keep the same fleet. There's so much traffic in this city, my God. Ambulance traffic, there are cars parked everywhere. A chaotic city. People trying to get through the intersection. It's cleared up. Let's go. Hey, let's pick up the passengers here. The stop is really crowded, right? There are 88 passengers on the bus. It's crowded, but luckily I added more buses, right? Let's wait for them to spread out. I'll run the game here for a bit, okay? And these are the corridors of buildings here in our New York-style city. We're about to cross the avenue here, Park Avenue. Look, the way is clear. Let's keep going. A pedestrian is passing by, and there's another spot here. Look, it's pretty crowded. Check it out. And man, I think the same number of people going down will go up exactly. That's exactly what happened. It's really a very, very dense city, right? This here is North Park Avenue. Look, it's one of the main avenues here in the city. We can see over there, we can see over here, and we're going to cross here. Oh, whoa, oops, what happened? A glitch live and in color. Where did I end up, man? In the Eastern European village? Is that a good sign? So now I'm gonna wait for the bus lines to be better distributed and for the vehicles to be better spread out along the whole route. To take the first-person tour with you guys and wait for the people from this area, which we zoned, to get to their homes, for them to arrive, so we can also see. Let's go. The traffic goes down a bit, right? And let's see if people stop using their cars and start taking the bus, okay? Thank you so much for making it this far. You are amazing. You are awesome. Just like the city council members whose names are appearing right now as a way of saying thank you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the view from the walkway because, after all, you deserve it. See you next time. Have a great weekend and a good week ahead. I'm not sure when this video will be out. We're always together. Big hug. See you next time.